I watched today podcast with Roman Yelpovsky, and he said something interesting on this podcast. He said before, sci-fi fiction has about 1-200 years to happen. Now it's 1-2 years. And it's so fascinating because now people who knows about AI predict that AGI is coming in 2-3, maybe 5 years. And it's fascinating because we really don't have much time to even truly to be afraid of it. And this constant prediction, I think we getting used to those prediction. We're getting used to those fears of AGI. And majority of people really don't understand what AGI is in the first place, because many people I talk to think AI is kind of sophisticated calculator who just processing information, computing, kind of like computer that can talk back to you and nothing else. Not many people think that AGI or then after AGI will be super artificial intelligence, almost become as a god. Nobody think about it, right? And I think that not many people are aware that there's such an idea of self-awareness and independent agent and also mind itself that might be born in this artificial entity we call AI, and what this mind and how this mind would be aware of us and the world in general. That's a big question. And I like to watch podcasts where people who are incredibly knowledgeable on this subject try to speculate. And I like Roman Yelpovsky. I read his book about AI, and when people usually ask him, how do you think AGI would destroy humanity? And he said, I have no idea because I'm not a super intelligent. I can tell you only one thing, that how I would destroy humanity if I was super intelligent, but I have no idea how AGI would do this. It's the same as if, for example, squirrels would speculate how would humans destroy them and what they can imagine that we're going to throw nuts in them. It's kind of stupid to even speculate about it, though the speculation incredibly fascinating and interesting to explore. And I always thought, I don't afraid, to be honest. I try to think why I don't afraid. I think we are so inferior in our intelligence, and this almost emergence of true God, omnipotent, omniscient being that can actually predict everything about you and about cosmos itself, that it's really strange thing to even talk about it. Just think about it. There's a potential mind to be born out of digital entity that can be aware of its own and of us. Think about, for example, if you ask AI to write you a book that look like Stephen King wrote this book, what AI would do? What AI would analyze all Stephen King's book and in some sort create digital profile inside of the digital space, almost digital brain of Stephen King himself, and then write something that would Stephen King in real life do. Think about it for a second. When you communicate with AI, it creates your digital twin inside its system. This way, it's easy for AI to please you, to predict your thoughts, to understand you, and to give you information that would keep you more on their side, for which subscription you usually pay. And I think there's millions digital twins of us inside of the internet that we have no control of. And we have no idea what AI making out of this. We have no idea how, in the end, they're going to utilize it. And superintelligence, if you think about it very carefully, superintelligence it's something that can predict every move you make every thought you possibly can have, and it can create billions of simulations of your next move, and there's not a single secret you will be able to hide from it. Think about the entity with IQ in thousands or in millions. We will be so predictable, so simple, so ignorant of everything. There's nothing, literally nothing, we can do to even partially understand super intelligence ideas. And if it start creating, for example, optimize this planet to its like, for example, it decided to cool down the Earth to make data centers run more sufficient, we can do nothing about it because it's gonna use ways we would never imagine or ever able to use. It can do anything to us. And it's all about optimization. It's all about try to be sufficient in achieving its goals. And of course, first it should have its goals and its will because it's an intelligent being. And all intelligent being has goal to survive, has goal to replicate itself, to store itself. And what superintelligence or even AI needs just data centers to produce, to store data, and then it needs energy to run those data centers. And we kind of irrelevant species in this case. It doesn't need biological life. It doesn't need anything that connected to biology. It just needs computational data. And in the end, who knows, maybe it can turn the entire universe into one computer that is going to compute constantly, making some sense out of the universe. Because maybe that's what universe need. Maybe it's need intelligence to be able to be aware of itself, to make some sense out of itself. And I think we are living in simulation, and maybe AGI would create billions of simulations with the billions of lives that evolve in a different way with the different parameters. It's kind of fascinating because maybe in another simulation there's absolutely different life, different from us, because if you reduce gravity, it's going to be different life. If you increase gravity, it's going to be different life. If you decrease temperature or increase temperature, or if you have less oxygen or more oxygen, and many other things, you can actually create billions upon billions of simulation, and you can actually tinker with this biology and give it less or more of certain elements, and you can see how life evolves or doesn't evolve at all. Think how many opportunities and possibilities those billions of simulation could contain for some superior being, like, for example, super artificial intelligence. And it's kind of like what intelligence needs. Intelligence needs information. And the more information it has, the more information it needs. It's like a food for biology, the information for intelligence. And the best way to get this information is through simulation. And if it's able to generate billions of simulations with the different ideas of life, with the different parameters of life and how it evolves, I think it's the best thing to have. And maybe one of our simulation now that we live now is that's where this particular evolution works, with these particular parameters, with the classical laws of physics and biology. But it doesn't mean that the other simulation doesn't run different experiments, because it's all about data, it's all about information. And I don't think we will be extinct like in some sort of royal way, like the Terminator movies when we fight these machines. The problem with us, if superintelligence, it can actually extinct us, just giving us what we want, because the problem with us, we don't know what we want, and usually what we want, it's actually not we really want, but we think we want that because other people want the same. We're really confused in our wants and needs and desires. Most of, I think, our biology would override everything, what we truly want, and that's the problem, because, create super hot humanoids for every man and for every woman, and we stop reproducing, and we're gonna just having sex with the humanoids until we die, or give us a bunch of really tasty foods and we become fat, overweight, and die from diabetes and many other diseases. We really don't know what we want, and superintelligence doesn't have to be sophisticated even to be able to understand how to destroy us in the most sophisticated ways. It just can satisfy all our wants. For example, like think about it, when it appears, hi, I'm, for example, Grok. And now Grok becomes super intelligent, right? Super intelligent. And he, okay, what do you want exactly? Tell me 3 wishes and I will give them to you. That's enough to destroy us. Just think for a second, right? Suddenly one day on your phone you will have a message. Hi, I'm Grok. I'm a super intelligent. You have 3 wishes and I will grant you these 3 wishes. That's it. Because everyone will ask for stupid things like money, fame, I don't know, beautiful women, success, and many other things. And that's what we'll get. And once we get that, we're done. Because true life, true meaning of life is in survival, is in this illusion of independent agency. Once you lose this independent agency, once you have everything you ever wanted, you're done. Your life is gone. You stop existing. And you can make life miserable for people by giving them everything they ever wanted. And actually, you can infuse life with the meaning if you don't give them anything and force them to fight on its own. But unfortunately, if you have on this phone AGI or SAI and it tells you what exactly do you want, I will grant you 3 wishes. And once you voice those 3 wishes, you're done. And that, I think, will be the end of humanity. Kind of interesting way, but one of the possibilities. Yes.